Midnight light on a dim-lit screen, clicking through stories you wouldn't believe. Cold case trails and courtroom scenes, whispers from the grave and media dreams. Truth is stranger, hearts beat faster, in the shadows of a news disaster. Scrolling deep where secrets hide, you found the stories time won't deny. Headstones and headlines, the tales collide. Justice and mystery, side by side. From backwoods crimes to breaking news lines, you shine a light where the silence lies. Oh, headstones and headlines, you dig where the truth won't die. Small town rumors and urban fear, a voice for the lost who can't speak here. Through every name, through every case, you hold the truth in a steady place. Cameras roll but justice lingers, truth unravels through careful fingers. You tell the story, speak their names in a world that's quick to look away. Headstones and headlines, the tales collide. Justice and mystery, side by side. From backwoods crimes to great night trials, you trace the echoes through every mile. Oh, headstones and headlines, you dig where the truth won't die. Some run from the dark, you walk right in with a question and a camera lens. It's not just a crime, it's the lives they led. The voice is still talking from the books unread. Headstones and headlines, the veil is thin. Truth gets louder when you begin. With every view, with every line, you bring the forgotten back to life. Oh, headstones and headlines, you dig where the truth won't die. Yeah, headstones and headlines, you tell the stories that time can't hide.
Hey everyone, happy Tuesday. I hope everyone is having a great day. My day was interesting to say the least. The start of a new semester is always a challenge, but we survived, and hopefully tomorrow will be a little bit more calm at work. But I decided to come live today because tomorrow I won't be able to because I have to go to the dentist after work, and then I figure, well, and I'm doing a book study at work, and I forgot the book at school today. I was going to read it tonight, and when I got home, I was like, damn it, why did you take it out of your bag, Emmy? You should have known you would forget it. So tomorrow, I'm going to spend my time getting my reading done that I was planning on getting done tonight. It's called Let Them Theory. So it was a book, let's see, I thought it was a new book because it's still on like the bestseller list. Let me see when it was from. Oh, I don't know the year. I don't know. I thought it was newer, but a coworker that had already read it said it was from a while ago. And the author is Mel Robbins. So should be interesting to say the least. So thanks for being here. We are going to talk a little bit more about what is happening with the ICE agents in Minneapolis, their fearless leader, Greg Bovino, has been fired, and he is being sent back to the border in California to resume operations there. I don't think it's going to it's not going to change anything. I don't know. But I did also see that the what's the word? The head of ICE has just been subpoenaed, I guess is the right word. Where's that article? I just had it here. Oh my gosh. But he is being subpoenaed to testify. He is being threatened to be held in contempt because he is not giving the detained immigrants due process in their hearings. So we're going to talk about that. And then I also saw that Kristi Noem is also under scrutiny. She is set to testify in front of a hearing, I believe, was it this week or next week? I can't remember. So hopefully things are happening for the better and things will start to settle a little bit. And hopefully there is justice for both Renee Good and Alex Preddy, because the fact that people are blaming him for having a gun is just boggles my mind. I just don't understand it. I was able to see there is a perspective of what happened with Alex Preddy. There's a new angle that I hadn't seen before where you can see the man in the gray jacket go up and dig around to get Alex's gun out of the holster. And I thought to myself, if that man had just let it alone, they had Alex down, like they had him contained. If he had just let it go, Alex would probably still be alive. Unfortunately, he is not. So thanks for being here. I see Deb was number 1. Nanny, thanks for being here. Pookie, Burden, good to see you. I just saw your short. I actually just saw that story too. I had it on my watch later. And so I watched your short, and I mean, how scary. How freaking scary that woman not having her child restrained. Hey Angie, thanks for being here. Blue Lazaru is listening to an audiobook and saw me pop up. I haven't listened to an audiobook in so long. I used to all the time when I worked much farther away from home. Nanny says, people around here sliding off roads left and right. Still, tow truck drivers can't keep up. Oh no. Yeah, the roads were actually not that bad going to work. There's one road that I have to go on. It was still all snow covered. But other than that, it wasn't too bad. Hey, Green, thanks for being here. Yeah, Bovino, well, he has been fired from his leadership role in Minnesota. He hasn't been fired. I think it's, what's the word do I want to use? I think it's a way to appease people, even though they now have someone else in his place. Like, I don't think it's going to change anything, to be honest. Oh, really, Nanny? I doubt we will have school for a while here. Well, I was talking to someone yesterday, and they're like, are you going to have school the rest of the week? And I was like, we're going to be back. Well, this was yesterday. So I'm like, we'll be back by Tuesday. Like, as long as it's not snowing, we'll have school. We'll have school. Oh, did you really, Burden? You read it? Perfect book for myself personally. I believe you'll like it. Yeah, it'll be interesting to say the least. Hey, Marie, don't be a douchebag. Thanks for being here. Holman, yes, Blue, Holman is taking his place. People have referred to Holman as a czar. So I guess we're just replacing one person with another with the same goal. The same goal. Hey, Josh, how are you? I hope things are going well where you're at. Yes, live chat reminder. I wish they would just get rid of top chat. Like, what is the point? What is the point of having top chat? Like, so you can see like the comment that was the best. All right, let me just. Oh, I'm almost caught up. Okay. Oh wow, Marie. My son hasn't had school since last Thursday between the cold and snow. Wow. Yep, we're back. We're back. Although I did see that there may be a bomb cyclone hitting the East Coast this weekend. I just hope that it stays closer to the ocean and doesn't come inland. Because I guess you don't realize, like, you know you have a lot of snow, but when I got home today, I'm like, where's my driveway? Because the snow is so high. And so I pull and I'm like, man, this is narrow. It's like a little igloo for my car. So we're going to get started. We're going to start with, let's see. We'll start with, where is it? This one. All right, so this is from the New York Times, my favorite publication. The only subscription for a media source that I pay for. So, Bovino set to leave Minnesota as Trump shakes up crackdown leadership. Greg Bovino, a Border Patrol official who became a target of fierce criticism, is set to depart as President Trump moves to deflect anger over a second fatal shooting. Mr. Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, I think it's Holman, right? Holman? Holman? Will now direct ICE operations in the state. And this was from actually just exactly 2 hours ago. It was updated. So there he is. There he is. Greg Bovino, the Border Patrol official in charge of President Trump's on-the-ground immigration enforcement in Minneapolis, is expected to leave the city, according to 2 U.S. officials. The decision to move him out of the city came 2 days after he made the unsubstantiated claim that a man who was shot and killed. Hang on, scratch that. The decision to move him out of the city came 2 days after he made the unsubstantiated claim that a man who was shot and killed there by federal agents was planning to, quote, massacre law enforcement officers. Some of the federal agents in the city are also expected to begin leaving on Tuesday, Mayor Jacob Frey of Minneapolis said after a phone call on Monday with President Trump without providing details. Mr. Trump and his top aides have faced intense scrutiny over the death of the man, Alex Preddy, including from some of the president's most ardent supporters. Earlier Monday, Mr. Trump said he was sending his border czar, Tom Homan, to Minnesota to oversee operations on the ground. Mr. Homan, the president added, would report directly to him. After 2 days of blowback over the shooting and his own attacks on the victim, Mr. Trump struck a more cooperative tone on Monday, first by dispatching Mr. Homan to the state and then describing in a social media post a, quote, very good call with Governor Tim Walz, whom he had also blamed for the shooting, that had them on a similar wavelength. Mr. Trump said that he would have Mr. Homan contact Mr. Walz to discuss coordination specifically on criminals already in state custody. Mr. Wells's office described the phone call as productive and said it touched on topics Mr. Trump's post did not mention. Efforts to ensure independent investigations into the killings of Mr. Preddy and Renee Good, who was fatally shot by an agent on January 7th, and the possibility of reducing the number of federal agents deployed to the state. But soon after Mr. Trump posted about the call, Carolyn Leavitt, the White House press secretary, continued to lay blame for the shooting of Mr. Preddy at the feet of Mr. Walz and other Democrats, even as she sought to distance Mr. Trump from the attacks on Mr. Preddy by some of his top allies, including Stephen Miller, the White House Deputy Chief of Staff. I actually watched probably a pretty good portion of the press conference that Carolyn Leavitt gave, and it was the same narrative, like just blaming everyone else instead of just saying, this is what happened. We need to change. Things need to change. But she just kept bringing up, we're going after the criminals, the worst of the worst, and it's like, but no, you're not. Because the worst of the worst, most of them are already in prison. So there's that. Blue says, so it's like a bigger government guy sent in instead. I don't know much about him. Let me look up Tom Homan. Here we go. What to know about Tom Homan? Trump's border czar as he heads to Minneapolis. Okay, so here he is. Here we go. Here's what to know about Homan ahead of his arrival in the Twin Cities. Homan has been in immigration enforcement for 4 decades. Holy cow. Homan, 64, started his career in 1984 as a Border Patrol agent before moving to Immigration and Customs Enforcement in 2003 when the agency was created as part of Homeland Security. He was a relatively low-key but influential figure on immigration enforcement in the Obama administration, heading ICE's Enforcement and Removal Operations Arm, which was tasked with tracking down people with outstanding deportation orders and removing them from the country. Despite unwavering enthusiasm for Trump and withering criticism of President Joe Biden, he is seen by some as a voice of restraint and moderation compared with some in the current administration. Homan, who is widely associated with the immigration enforcement actions that separated families, was given a presidential rank award by the Obama administration to tout his efficacy in 2015. Homan was at his retirement party in January 2017 when Trump's choice for Homeland Security Secretary, John Kelly, asked him to stay at ICE. Homan accepted after taking a weekend to think about it and became a leading figure in the Trump administration through 4 tumultuous years. Under Obama, the U.S. carried out 432,000 deportations in 2013, the highest annual total since records were kept. Deportations under the first Trump administration never topped 350,000. When he was appointed border czar, Homan was seen as a leader who not only aligned with Trump ideologically, but who also had significant practical experience in immigration policy. Homan portrays illegal immigration as black and white and has made no apologies for Trump's policy of targeting everyone in the country without status, not just those with criminal histories, public safety concerns, and recent border crossers. If you're in the country illegally, you should be concerned, he said in a 2018 interview with the Associated Press. That's the way it's supposed to be. Just like if I go speeding down the highway, are you worried about getting a ticket? If you lie on your taxes, are you worried about an audit? People ask all the time, why did you remove that guy who's been here 12 years and has 2 U.S. citizen kids? I said because he had his due process. People think I enjoy this. I'm a father. People don't think this bothers me. I feel bad about the plight of these people. Don't get me wrong, but I have a job to do. He also said in a separate interview that worksite immigration enforcement operations, which the Biden administration largely stopped, would be necessary. I will run the biggest deportation operation this country's ever seen, Homan said in 2024. Hey, Sinner. Thanks for being here. Homan vowed to target worst of the worst in humane manner. In an appearance on Fox News Sunday Morning Futures in 2024, Homan promised to target, at least initially, people posing a risk to public safety and pushed back on suggestions that the U.S. military would be assisting in finding and deporting immigrants. You concentrate on the public safety threats and the national security threats first, because they're the worst of the worst. He also said ICE would move to implement Trump's plan in a, quote, humane manner. And this was in 2024. Well, it seems like they didn't concentrate on the public safety and national security threats first. They concentrated on everyone who was a different skin color, who had an accent. So, and a lot of it has not been humane. Oh, and that just reminded me about the 5-year-old boy that ICE detained. A federal judge has ordered their deportations be halted. So that was something else that I wanted to talk about. We'll get to that after. On a separate 60 Minutes interview before the 2024 presidential elections, Homan called suggestions of mass neighborhood raids or building camps to hold people, quote, ridiculous. So based on, I don't know if his thought process has changed, but based on what he's saying, he should be disgusted with the way that ICE has been handling things in Minneapolis, because they have been having mass neighborhood raids. When asked whether there was a way to carry out deportations without separating families, he said, families can be deported together. There are countless recent examples across the country of arrests that don't align with those priorities. In Minnesota, the Associated Press had reported on how ICE agents have detained people with legal immigration status and no criminal records, children and U.S. citizens. Okay, so that's going into stuff that I don't really care about. So let's go back to this article about Bovino. Blue says Bovino's access to social media accounts was revoked by the Department of Homeland Security after he used them to defend the Minneapolis shootings with claims that were contradicted by video evidence. I've seen a lot of videos, like I saw one by, I think it was CBS News, had compared what Kristi Noem said to what actually happened. They had a side-by-side, and like the stark difference between what actually happened and what they said happened. I mean, if people can't see it, I don't think we can help them, because they like have this blind loyalty where whatever they say is what happened. Well, no, that's not what happened. Okay, and so I did want to look up. So according to CNN, because I was curious about him being banned. So according to CNN, Greg Bovino has had his access to social media revoked, citing a source familiar with the situation. So it hasn't been confirmed, but The report comes as he is expected to depart from the city of Minneapolis, which could signify a change in the White House's stance following the deadly shooting of a second American citizen by federal agents over the weekend. With Bovino's anticipated exit, President Donald Trump's border chief, Tom Homan, will begin leading the on-site initiatives in the city after the tragic shooting of Alec Preddy on Saturday heightened tensions. Oh, I am not sharing this, so let me switch over here. The controversial border agent had been clapping back at his critics from his @CMDROP@large-CA account by posting mugshots of immigrants who had been apprehended. He also responded aggressively to both Republican and Democratic lawmakers on X, defending the shooting of Preddy. Carrying a firearm is not a death sentence. It's a constitutionally protected God-given right, and if you don't understand this, you have no business in law enforcement or government, GOP Congressman Thomas Massey stated on X. Attacking law enforcement is not a right like you want it to be, Bovino hit back. He further stated that Texas Representative James Tellerico was, quote, spreading lies and fueling violence for highlighting that Preddy's shooting occurred weeks after the murder of Renee Good. Oh, here it is. Commander OP at Large, CA, Gregory K. Bovino. Operation Metro Surge is making good on catching and not releasing. This Honduran national... Oh, crap. It's going to take me to X because it doesn't show the whole thing. I wanted to see the whole post. And it's going to make me... go to Twitter. And it's taking forever. I'll just read the rest. All right, my computer is acting up. Okay, there we go. This Honduran national and criminal illegal alien is wanted by the St. Paul sheriffs for driving while intoxicated. But because of sanctuary policies, we won't turn him over, as he'll then be released back into the community. Instead, the hashtag Green Machine will send him back to Honduras, keeping our community safe. Hashtag DHS, hashtag CBP, hashtag Border Patrol, hashtag Op Metro Surge, hashtag Minneapolis. So this man is a national... Oh, he's a Honduran national. He is a criminal illegal alien wanted for driving while intoxicated. Yes, that is a criminal act. However, he's the worst of the worst for driving while intoxicated. Okay. Hey, Glow, how are you? Yeah, Pookie, I haven't been able to watch that yet. I did see that. Hey, SoFlo, thanks for being here. I was thinking about you and AMAC the other day. I hope things are going well in Florida. I'll send you some snow if you'd like. Oh no! What? Can y'all hear me? I don't know what is happening. Like, I looked at my... Oh yeah, it's back now. I looked at my StreamYard and it was like completely blank. I'm like, what is happening? Yeah, there it goes again. What is going on? I can see it on my phone. I might have to refresh my browser. Let's see. Is this going to work? Oh, okay. And then it just gets into... Okay, now it seems to be working. So then it just gets into like his job. All right, let me just close some of these windows because my computer is being very strange. Very strange. Okay, so I don't remember. Okay, so I think I ended here. Yes, Stephen Miller. Mr. Trump also met with Kristi Noem, the Homeland Security Secretary, and Corey Lewandowski, her top aide, in the Oval Office for more than 2 hours on Monday evening, according to two people briefed on the meeting. The president did not suggest in the meeting that Miss Noem and Mr. Lewandowski were at risk for losing their jobs, those people said, but it was another sign of Mr. Trump's concern about the reaction to the killing of Mr. Preddy. So it's an image thing. Here's what we're covering. State investigation. A federal judge didn't immediately rule on the request by Minnesota investigators to extend a temporary order barring the federal government from destroying evidence in the killing of Mr. Preddy. State officials want the judge to compel federal cooperation with a state investigation into Mr. Preddy's death after local law enforcement was initially denied access to the scene and evidence. Crackdown challenged. Lawyers representing Minnesota and the cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul urged a federal judge to temporarily halt the deployment of some 3,000 immigration agents. The judge, who did not provide a timeline for a ruling, pointedly questioned whether the request was overly broad, but also pressed lawyers for the Trump administration about the motives for the crackdown. The victim. Administration officials quickly branded Mr. Preddy as a domestic terrorist, even as videos of the encounter contradicted their narrative of the shooting. Mr. Preddy's friends, family, and colleagues denounced what they said were sickening lies by the Trump administration. They described Mr. Preddy, an intensive care unit nurse, as a happy and generous man who loved biking and walking his dog. All right, so that is... Oh, this is interesting. So that was the part about Bovino, but this is interesting. So Senator Ted Cruz, Republican of Texas, criticized the Trump administration's reaction to killings by federal agents in Minneapolis. Quote, "What I think the administration could do better is the tone with which they are describing this. That immediately when an incident like this happens, they come out guns blazing that we took out a violent terrorist, hooray!" He said on his podcast on Monday. And the problem is, particularly for someone not paying attention, if you're being told this is a mom of three and there's no indication, she's not waving an ISIS flag or doesn't have a suicide vest around her, escalating the rhetoric doesn't help and it actually loses credibility. You think? Okay, so Trump holds a 2-hour meeting with Kristi Noem. Let's see what this says. Although I do have an article, so let's actually go over here because CBS did an article about Kristi Noem. So shifting duties, it says she is facing questions over DHS handling of shooting. She is facing anger from some inside DHS over public statements. She is expected to keep her job. Her focus is shifting to southern border, and Democrats are calling for her impeachment. Yeah, we have seen all angles, and I did, some of these media, several of them, clickbait, new body cam footage, right? Because the allegedly the Border Patrol agents involved in the shooting of Alex were wearing body cam footage, specifically the officer or the agent who took his gun from his holster, the one that shot that first shot. So we'll see. We'll see. So DHS Secretary Kristi Noem under scrutiny as Bovino exits. Let me pause this. This is very distracting. As Bovino exits Minnesota. A day after the demotion of Border Patrol Commander Greg Bovino in his expected departure from Minnesota, Department of Homeland Security Kristi Noem is also under internal scrutiny. Noem is expected to keep her job, but sources said she was at the White House Monday facing questions about her department's handling of and response to the killing of Alex Preddy. Her focus is expected to shift from interior enforcement operations to securing the southern border and other priorities. The shifts in DHS also come after Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey had conversations with President Trump about ways to scale down the federal immigration operation. President Trump said on social media Monday that he is sending border czar Tom Homan to Minnesota. Governor Tim Walz's office has since confirmed that Walz and Homan have met and that they, quote, agreed on the need for an ongoing dialogue. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey also met with Homan to discuss next steps. Multiple sources with direct knowledge of the situation told CBS News some at the DHS are increasingly concerned about the agency's reputation. So, like I said, it's an image thing. A group of activists is calling on people across the U.S. to participate in a national shutdown on Friday to protest U.S. immigration and customs enforcement. Minnesota officials said Preddy was a lawful gun owner with a permit to carry. He had no criminal record. Two U.S. officials tell CBS News some of the Border Patrol agents involved in the fatal shooting of Alex Preddy in Minneapolis had body cameras. Videos from the scene, verified by CBS News, show that Preddy was holding a phone in his right hand and nothing in his left before he was shot. Multiple videos also show a federal agent in a gray jacket reaching into the scuffle empty-handed and emerging with a gun in his right hand, turning away from the man when the first shot is fired, then running across the street as more shots are fired. And let me see if I can find that photo or that video. Where did I see that video? Maybe it was CBS? Actually, I think it was CBS. Let me go to... Let me go to my watch history because I just watched it. And I had it on the playlist to play. And then I was like, I have so much I want to talk about. I'm not going to have time. Maybe this is it. Let me see. Let's see if this is it. Oh, this is it. Okay, so let's watch this video. Okay, so let me rewind this. Rewind. So this has an angle that I hadn't seen where it's like it's head on, like and you can see the guy in the gray jacket what he's actually doing. Whereas the other videos that I saw myself didn't show that. Like this guy was digging around trying to get this gun. Didn't you say Alex's gun was holstered, no threat? Yes, and that's where, they initially had said, I don't even know, they didn't know he had a gun until that guy in the gray went and dug around for it and then ended up, firing it. So then they yelled, gun, 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 and that's when the other agent opened fire. I mean, they were struggling with him. You would think that the people that there was what, 4 or 5 agents trying to, get him down. I mean,
more videos have emerged in the killing of 37-year-old Alex Preddy by federal agents. This happened Saturday in Minneapolis. The new angles appear to contradict the Trump administration's version of the events leading up to the deadly shooting. NBC's Morgan Chesky reports from Minneapolis.
Yeah, here in Minneapolis, another incredibly tense night following the shooting death of 37-year-old VA nurse Alex Preddy. There were multiple arrests overnight after protesters clashed with authorities outside of a hotel.
Oh my gosh, I was watching this on, is it IRL Media? And this was like, the people here, like what they were doing, like they were vandalizing this hotel because ICE was allegedly staying there. They were breaking windows, spray painting slurs and other things. And, I thought to myself, they think that they're getting something over on the ICE agents, but all they're doing is destroying a hotel and someone's livelihood instead of, being peaceful. Like it was out of control. And then finally, the police show up and, disperse them all. Although the one ICE agent did tell them to back up, or he was gonna. Well, I think they did actually end up throwing smoke bombs. I think they did throw smoke bombs to just disperse them away.
That they believed federal agents were staying at. In the meantime, 2 federal law enforcement sources now tell NBC News that they believe DHS will be the lead agency into the investigation of Preddy's death, assisted by the FBI and the DOJ, which notably is a deviation from what is standard protocol. In the meantime, there is an absolute palpable tension here with the release of multiple different angles capturing this fatal encounter between Preddy and federal agents there Saturday morning, where he appeared to help a woman.
I mean, that agent, like from the front, you could tell he shoved that woman, but what the hell, dude? I mean, talk about anger issues. Like the woman is just standing there. And I did hear that they were blowing whistles and, kind of berating the agents. But just like that one agent where that girl called him a little bitch. I mean, swallow your ego. I mean, this angle shows he really shoved her.
Appeared to help a woman holding a phone in his hand before being taken.
So he not only is shoving her, he's got his pepper spray. So then this lady goes to try to help him. Alex is over here.
Taken to the ground, contradicting DHS statements saying that he.
So see that? Here's the one in gray. The other ones, there's 1, 2, 3. This guy's just kind of standing there. He goes in and reaches in for the gun.
Approached the area brandishing a firearm. NBC News has.
I mean, you can't even see Alex's gun. It wasn't a threat to anyone at this point. No one. His hands are in front of him. So why this guy had to get involved is beyond me. They did. I believe they committed murder.
Verified at least 5 separate angles of this shooting, which is certainly igniting a new firestorm in this city following the shooting death of Renee Good nearly 3 weeks ago. In the meantime,
and I did see a preliminary autopsy report was released in regards to Renee Good, and she was shot in the face, which means when that officer deliberately put his gun inside her window as she was driving away, I think that's what killed her. And on a side note, not related to this situation, I did see that an autopsy report was released, a partial autopsy report was released in the Idaho 4 case. And I've got to say, like, I read it this morning, which probably wasn't a good idea. It made me sick to my stomach, like physically ill. Those kids suffered so badly. And just to sum it up, between Kaylee, Madison, Xana, and Ethan, collectively they were stabbed 150 times. 150 times.
We know that a federal judge has blocked the Trump administration from altering or destroying any evidence in Preddy's shooting investigation.
Yeah, Blue. Yeah, that gray coat guy is the one who caused it all.
After local officials here sued. And in an interview with the Wall Street Journal, President Trump said that federal authorities here will eventually have to leave at some point, but that they've done a phenomenal job. But he did not offer a clear timeline as to when that could eventually take place. Notably, when asked if he believed if this agent did the right thing or not, the president did not give a clear answer. Morgan Chesky, NBC News.
And I think, oh yeah, I did have that. So that's actually a really good segue. And then we'll get into the other videos that I had. Let me go back to my playlist. Pause. There we go. So this is again from the New York Times. And Minneapolis Live updates, Trump faults Preddy for carrying gun, but says he wants honest inquiry. The president has faced criticism for the way his administration has blamed Alex Preddy for his death at the hands of federal agents. Witness videos have contradicted federal officials' narrative of the shooting. President Trump promised a very honorable and honest investigation into the killing of Alex Preddy by federal agents in Minneapolis, but again cast blame on him for carrying the legally permitted weapon that was seized from him before he was fatally shot. You can't walk in with guns, Mr. Trump told reporters as he departed the White House for a speech in Iowa on Tuesday. You can't do that, he added before calling Mr. Preddy's death a very unfortunate incident. I agree with him there. It was very unfortunate, but it was also preventable. And it's not like Mr. Preddy walked in guns blazing. He had a cell phone. He wasn't like, saying, hey, look what I have. Mr. Trump did not offer details on the federal investigation, which he told reporters he was watching over. But those that have emerged in court filings so far indicate it is limited to a use of force review rather than a broader inquiry that would examine whether the agents should face criminal charges. Well, the guy in gray should. He's what caused all of this. The other agent, granted, they hear a gunshot. I think they were trigger happy. The other agent shouldn't have released. There were 10 shots that you can hear. There was a series, pause, series. It was excessive. State officials have complained that local law enforcement was initially denied access to the scene and evidence and have asked the judge to compel federal cooperation with a state investigation into the death of Mr. Preddy. Mr. Trump and his top aides have faced sharp criticism both for the actions of the agents and for administration officials' descriptions of Mr. Preddy as a domestic terrorist almost immediately after the shooting. Stephen Miller, Mr. Trump's deputy chief of staff, described Mr. Preddy as an assassin, a characterization that Mr. Trump said on Tuesday he disagreed with. A broad outcry over the shooting has put pressure on the White House. On Monday, Mr. Trump dispatched his border czar, Tom Homan, to directly oversee the operation in Minnesota. As part of the shakeup, he also planned to pull out its director of on-the-ground enforcement, Gregory Bovino. Okay, so that just kind of says the same thing that we already talked about. Let's see if there was anything else. All right, let's see. 5 new updates. Let's see. So 51 minutes ago, in an interview with Fox News, President Trump said, "We're going to de-escalate a little bit in Minnesota." Okay, we're going to de-escalate a little bit. The president did not provide specifics and immediately pivoted to bragging that ICE, quote, took thousands of criminals out of Minnesota, end quote. On the killing of Alex Preddy, Trump again said that, quote, "I think the whole thing is terrible. I don't like that he was carrying a gun," end quote. He also briefly brought up the killing of Renee Good, saying that, quote, "I know her parents were big Trump fans. Makes me feel bad anyway, but I mean, I guess you could say even worse. They were just tremendous Trump people, Trump fans," end quote. Let's see if there's anything else. And then, oh yeah, I did see there was another shooting. I gotta look a little bit more up that. Nanny says, "It shouldn't have gotten to this point to begin with. We saw something like this happening." Yeah, I agree. So it says, one person was shot and wounded in a shooting involving Border Patrol agents early Tuesday morning near the southern border town of Arivaca, Arizona. There were few details available about what led to the shooting or whether the wounded person was a migrant, American citizen, or someone else. The Pima County Sheriff's Department, which oversees a vast part of southern Arizona, said it had been asked by the FBI's Phoenix office to help conduct a use of force investigation into the shooting. Okay, so let me look up shooting in Arizona Border Patrol. There we go. Okay, so it says one critically injured. In Arizona Border Patrol shooting. One person was critically hurt in a shooting by Border Patrol agents near the U.S.-Mexico border in Arizona. Oh, so this was 16 minutes ago.
Elevate your style game with the Kittles collection, exclusively from Zenni.
Kittles?
Also breaking, one person in critical condition after a shooting involving a Border Patrol agent down in Arizona. It happened this morning near the U.S.-Mexico border, about an hour south of Tucson. The FBI
I mean, at least Border Patrol doesn't cover their faces. Like, why is it that ICE has to cover their faces? Like, I don't understand. Like, these Border Patrol agents don't have their faces covered.
requested help from the Pima County Sheriff's Department for a use of force investigation. Several hours later, it is still not clear who exactly was shot in this incident. The area is regularly patrolled by federal agents trying to stop drug smugglers and illegal border crossings. More on that as we get it.
All right, so there's not much that we know about. All right. So, where do we want to go next? I think we're going to go to the acting ICE director. A judge is threatening to hold him in contempt. All right, so this. And what's his name? I don't remember we just talked about his name yesterday or the day before. I don't even remember his name anymore. Oh, wait, what does this say? What? Lipstick on a pig. Ex-ICE official on Trump immigration shakeups. Oh, boy.
Camila, I'll start with you. What more do we know about Tom Homan's meetings with the governor and mayor, who are both Democrats? And how are people in Minneapolis reacting to Greg Bovino leaving the city?
Well, I think it's not a stretch to say that people here are glad that he is going to be leaving, because their message this entire time was that they wanted federal agents out of this city. So we know some of them are leaving, and the desire of the governor and the mayor is that all of them leave. And so that's part of the conversations that they will be having with that border czar as he's here in Minneapolis. We know that the governor already had those conversations, and his office released a statement about the meeting saying this: Governor Walz met with Tom Homan this morning and reiterated Minnesota's priorities: impartial investigations into the Minneapolis shootings involving federal agents, a swift, significant reduction in the number of federal forces in Minnesota, and an end to the campaign of retribution against Minnesota. So we still don't know what the mayor, Jacob Frey, is going to tell Tom Homan, but we do know that yesterday he said, look, this city is going to continue to cooperate with federal officials when it comes to criminal investigations. But the mayor also made it very clear that they're not going to cooperate when it comes to immigration enforcement. So it will be interesting to see if they come up with some sort of agreement or deal here as they try to move forward, guys.
Federal judge in Minnesota is threatening to hold the acting ICE director in contempt for ignoring court orders on immigration cases. What is that all about?
Yeah, so this is a federal case of a man who essentially is asking for due process, who was detained by federal agents, but who doesn't essentially feel like he got that due process in terms of bond hearings and in terms of getting essentially his day in court. And so the judge in this case is telling the head of ICE, you need to be here on Friday if you're not going to give this man his day in court, essentially. And the judge even saying this is a huge ask, and he understands that it is, but he also says that this is unprecedented, the way that things are going down here in Minnesota, guys.
We thank you for watching, and remember.
Interesting. And I wanted to see if I could find. Oh, what's this from? 5:29, 4 minutes ago? Okay, so this article going along with the man who, so it says authorities release man whose case led judge to order ICE leader to appear in court, lawyer says. That's interesting. So instead of going to court, they just said, okay, we're going to release him. Federal immigration authorities have released an Ecuadorian man whose detention led the chief federal judge in Minnesota to order the head of ICE to appear in his courtroom, the man's attorney said Tuesday. Attorney Graham Ojala Barber said the man, who is identified in court documents as Juan T.R., was released in Texas. The lawyer said in an email to the Associated Press that he was notified in an email from the U.S. Attorney's Office in Minneapolis shortly after 1 p.m. Central Time that his client had been freed. In an order dated Monday, Chief Judge Patrick J. Schultz expressed frustration with the Trump administration's handling of Juan's and other immigration cases. He took the extraordinary step of ordering Todd Lyons, the acting director of ICE, to personally appear in his courtroom Friday. Schultz had said in his order that he would cancel Lyons' appearance if the man was released from custody. Okay, well, there we go. This court has been extremely patient with respondents, even though respondents decided to send thousands of agents to Minnesota to detain aliens without making any provision for dealing with hundreds of habeas petitions and other lawsuits that were sure to result. Trump says big investigation underway in Alex Pretty's killing. All right, so that's kind of, we already talked about all that. Oh, well, that's interesting. They released the man. They released the man. So I have one more video. Actually, I have a video. Yeah, one more video. But I did want to before we get to that, I wanted to talk about the article I'd seen about the man and his 5-year-old. You know, the 5-year-old that ICE said they didn't detain. Here it is. So CBS News is like on it today. Okay, so judge blocks ICE from deporting or transferring 5-year-old Liam Conejo Ramos and his father. A federal judge on Tuesday temporarily barred federal immigration office officials from deporting 5-year-old Liam Conejo Ramos and his father or transferring them away from the Texas region where they're currently held. Liam and his father, Adrian Alexander Conejo Ramos, were taken into custody in Minnesota earlier this month as part of an ICE operation captured on videos and photos that sparked outrage. Images that garnered national attention depicted Liam wearing a blue bunny hat in his school backpack. The two are currently detained at the Dilley ICE Detention Center, a facility in Texas designed to house immigrant families with underage children who have been accused of violating federal immigration law. CBS News exclusively reported last week that the government could not immediately deport Liam and his father because they have pending immigration court cases that have not been fully adjudicated. In his order Tuesday, U.S. District Court Judge Fred Beery blocked any attempt to deport the family until further order from this court. He also prohibited ICE from transferring the son and father from the Western District of Texas during the pendency of this litigation and until further order of this court. There he is, little boy. Oh, he's so cute. The boy and his father were taken into ICE custody on January 20th in the Minneapolis area, where the Trump administration has deployed thousands of federal immigration agents to oversee the largest operation in the history of the Department of Homeland Security. DHS has said Liam's father is an Ecuadorian immigrant living in the U.S. illegally and has accused him of trying to evade ICE officers when they sought to arrest them. An attorney for the family said Liam's father appears to lack a criminal record, an allegation DHS has not yet contested. Last week, Marcos Charles, the head of ICE's deportation branch, said his officers targeted Liam's father, not the child, during an arrest operation on January 20th. Charles said Liam was with his father inside a vehicle when ICE officers approached them. Charles said Liam's father tried to escape on foot, quote, abandoning his child in the middle of winter in a vehicle. He said an officer stayed with Liam while others arrested his father. ICE officers, quote, cared for Liam and took him to a drive-through restaurant. ICE officers tried to get Liam's family to take the child, but, quote, people inside refused to take him in and open the door. He noted his officers were heartbroken by the incident. Sergio Mescua, a pastor who said he's spoken to Liam's mother, said she was terrified during the incident. ICE agents were trying to use the baby for her to come out of her house, but the neighbors stepped up. Neighbors advised her not to do it. Oh, let's see. Let's see what this video says. Look at that. That poor. Wow. Oh, can't see anything. Oh no, I lost connection. I'm so sorry. I wish StreamYard would have like a pop-up or something, because when I'm on the video, I'm not on StreamYard. So let me stop sharing. Oh my gosh. So if I'm on the video, I don't see what StreamYard's telling me, so I count on you all in chat to tell me, because I'm on a different window. Here we go. All right, so I will rewind. Yeah, look at what is Emmy talking. No, I wasn't. Well, I was talking to some things. I was like, look at him. He's so cute. Oy vey. Okay, starting over. What is Oh, geez Louise. Now I'm all discombobulated. All right.
Old boy in Minneapolis on Tuesday. We're told he's being held with his father, but this image of Liam Ramos and his Spider-Man backpack surrounded by ICE agents in front of his home has people asking a lot of questions. The family's lawyer and school say the boy was used by ICE as, quote, bait. But the Department of Homeland Security calls that a horrific smear. Nicole Skanga is in Minneapolis with more.
Thousands braved sub-freezing temperatures in the Twin Cities to protest ICE, with businesses declaring Blackout Friday.
Lord, have mercy!
Dozens of clergy were arrested in demonstrations outside Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport. And U.S. Border Patrol Commander Gregory Bovino defended ICE agents who detained this 5-year-old boy, Liam Ramos, and his father, an asylum seeker. They're being held together at a federal detention center in South Texas.
The child is in the least restrictive setting with a family member. I don't think it gets any better than that.
The child could be with his family, or, as we're going to see in a moment, the school offered to take the little boy, and ICE drove away with him in the car. So yes, he was being detained. The little boy was not free to go.
Agents picked up the boy moments after his father brought him home from preschool. School board chair Mary Granlund was there.
And somebody else saw me and said to the agents, "School is here. The school is here. They can take him." And I said, "Yes, I'm here. I am here. I can help with that."
You offered to take him and you saw ICE agents drive away.
Yes.
It's 100% about politics.
Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison calls Operation Metro Surge a political tactic meant to punish Minnesotan leaders. He told us he's seen no evidence the FBI is investigating the fatal shooting of Renee Good.
You don't believe the federal government is investigating potential wrongdoing in the killing of Renee Good?
I have no evidence. In fact, I have evidence to the contrary, that the federal government is investigating the death of Renee Good at all.
I think that's going to make a lot of...
I don't disagree with this lawyer. I don't think they're investigating it either.
People in this state and in this country angry.
The federal government can come back and say, we were wrong for jumping to a conclusion that Renee Good's death was not worth investigating.
We're just outside a Minneapolis rally where thousands of people have turned up despite it being negative 10 degrees outside. As for 5-year-old Liam and his father, CBS News has reviewed government records showing that both have active pending asylum cases, meaning they can't be deported just yet. For CBS Saturday Morning, Nicole Skanga, Minneapolis.
All right.
Homeowners, when your water or
Okay. So let me. I just want to make sure I covered everything that I wanted to cover. Let's see. There was one thing I saw here. Where is it? No, I can't find it. It was an article about schools and how a lot of absences have gone up because, children are afraid that they're going to be taken, and parents aren't bringing their kids to school because they're afraid they're going to get taken. And now, of course, I cannot find it. Oh, TikTok blamed technical problems. Actually, TikTok blames technical problems as users claim it has suppressed ICE-related posts. Huh. Well, it says TikTok's U.S. operation said in a statement on Monday that a power outage at an American data center had impeded users from uploading new videos. It said that some videos also inaccurately showed that they had 0 views or likes. Well, it wasn't just TikTok. CapCut was down too. And CapCut said it was upgrading their server. So apparently people who are posting ICE-related content are getting 0 views. Oh, here it is. I finally found it. So it's just a short little blurb. There was a news conference today at the Minnesota State Capitol, and officials are describing schools in crisis, students absent from school, children crying in class wondering if their parents will come home, teachers who have no answers. Children ask, "Can they take us? We don't know what to tell them," said Peg Nelson, a teacher in Columbia Heights who has been teaching for 33 years. Many are comparing it to the pandemic. Every day we wonder, how long is this sustainable? I tend to agree. All right, so the last thing I have is a video of, there was an older man who was in Minneapolis, and he was very upset, and he yelled, "I'm angry. I'm so angry." And I hadn't realized that he owned a bookstore. So this last story, it's a feel-good story in that people who saw him on the news protesting have surged to his bookstore, where his bookstore was, it was successful, but they weren't as successful as they are now. So I thought this was a good story to end with. Good question, Blue. Where are these kids supposed to go if separated from parents? That's why I said, do they go to foster care? In the one clip, Bovino said, well, the 5-year-old was with his dad. He's with a family member, But what if they're taking parents on their way home from work when their kids were at school? Where do those kids go? I'm sharing the wrong tab. Hold on a second. Okay, here we go.
Okay. I'm fine. I don't breathe anything. I'm just angry. I'm 70 years old. Get angry.
The raw emotion of that man from Minnesota touched a nerve with many.
Photojournalist Nick Luneman and Aaron Hassanzadeh found him today at his bookstore.
Hello, Dreamhaven Books. Can I help you?
Most days at Dreamhaven Books and Comics sound like this.
Ha! No peanuts spilled.
Boxes to fill, orders to sort, and a phone that hardly rings.
Careful, peanuts.
Oh, you're welcome.
But today,
I'm afraid our website's down at the moment because there's been so much activity.
69-year-old Greg Ketter and his staff are being flooded with orders on a scale he has never seen.
We got Patton Oswalt and Canadians here. It's been insane. I never pictured anything like this. It's gone truly global.
Greg will tell you he didn't do anything special.
People have been amazingly kind and they just want to help.
Others disagree.
Thank you. Okay, bye-bye now. Take care. Wow. Oh, just a woman from Memphis.
This all started when he heard about the killing of Alex.
And the fact that, I mean, I hadn't known he owned a bookstore. I saw the clip of him, you know, his emotional reaction and just the powerfulness in what he was saying. And to now know that he has a bookstore and he can't keep up with, you know, I mean, they're keeping up with the orders, but like his website was down because of so much activity. Just for one, well, what was it? Like 5 seconds? 5 seconds?
Preddy, just minutes away from his store.
Stop! This is personal, being right here in Minneapolis. I mean, this is the U.S. government attacking its own people. And that's what just got to me.
With temperatures in the negatives, air filled with tear gas, Greg says he stood up for his community.
I was just doing what I felt was necessary, was right. There are other people who have done a lot more.
Like the covers of his comics.
I'll say I wasn't even running. I just walked.
Greg was caught with his own superhero moment.
Wow, look at that photo. I mean, it's like the phoenix rising from the ashes. I mean, that is powerful right there. And then that one little tree with no leaves.
When I saw the photo of Greg running through the tear gas and looked into who he was in the community, I told Rachel we have to come and support him.
Maybe drawing a little inspiration.
He's a hero to me. Like, he's so brave.
From these pages.
Oh, they'd absolutely be on my side. Truth, justice, and the American way. And he'd be.
Very true, Steph. That would be an amazing Time cover.
Absolutely appalled at this sort of American way.
In Minneapolis, with photojournalist Nick Luneman, Aaron Hassanzadeh, WCCO News.
That's a nice bookstore, too.
The internet found an old online fundraiser from 2020 for Greg's store, and money has poured in. Greg says he is giving that money to food shelters and other people in need.
Wow. Oh, oops. Nope, don't want that. Wow. So there was an old fundraiser that people found, and he's donating everything to other organizations. What a great guy. What a great guy. So that is all I have for you all today. I do appreciate everyone being here. I think, you know, unless something significant happens, I think we'll start doing our true crime and story time again with different stories. There's been a lot going on, and I just keep adding stuff to my watch later. And, you know, I've been doing some shorts here and there. But I did want to talk about, you know, some other things, even though this is really important to me, because this is happening all over our country. Minneapolis just happens to be in the spotlight right now. I know Maine, actually, let me look up. I saw something about Maine the other day. Okay, so it says ICE Maine operation nabs 200 as governor seeks to ask Trump to remove agents. That was 10 hours ago. It says ICE reports in Maine slow after spike last week, immigrant advocates say. Maine's immigrant students stay home as ICE operation ramps up. That was the New York Times 13 hours ago. When a class in Portland went out for recess on Thursday, their teacher recalled some of the 6-year-old students anxiously asked, "What about the ICE people?" Like, 6-year-olds should not have to worry about people coming to take them away. So it says Shandy Pretty, a delivery driver for Target in Portland, Maine, was dropping off a package at an apartment complex on Friday morning when a stranger approached with a startling question. Would Miss Pretty drive her son to school? On the 4th day of an unprecedented federal immigration crackdown in the state, Miss Pretty, 48, a mother of 3, said she understood instantly. She looked petrified, like she did not want to step out of that corridor, said Miss Pretty, adding how the woman had explained that she was an immigrant from the Democratic Republic of Congo and that her husband had been taken by immigration agents the previous day. I know that pressure, Miss Pretty said, of having security and then not having it. As the federal surge began last week, officials with the Department of Homeland Security said that it was targeting 1,400 criminal illegal aliens who have terrorized communities in Maine. On Monday, the department said that immigration agents had arrested more than 200 people so far. Several Democratic elected officials and lawyers for detained immigrants have said that at least some have no criminal record. Can you imagine driving and, delivering packages and a woman asks you to bring her son to school? I mean, I would be taken aback, but then again, I feel like the people in that area know what's happening, which makes it a little more easy to understand. It says in Portland, a city of about 70,000 people that is home to many of the state's estimated 50,000 immigrants, federal officers have been stopping cars, detaining motorists, and staking out apartment buildings. It's crazy. And I did see that there was, at a Texas detention center, those people being detained were protesting within the walls of that detainment center. That was a short that I saw. So definitely, hopefully things will change. I doubt it, but I hope that they do. Marie says, my friend just told me her adult daughter who works for a police department was followed by ICE. She is a Caucasian single female. No need to scare people. Well, I think it's an intimidation thing too. Like, we're here. Don't stay in your lane. Stay in your lane, or you're going to get run over. All right, y'all. Well, thanks for being here. I'm going to go get some food. I will not be live tomorrow, so I will see you all on Thursday. So with that, have a great day, morning, night, wherever you may be. If you haven't hit that like, please do so on your way out. If you are watching the replay, #replay. No outro. So as always, thank you so much. I appreciate all of you. And until next time, I will see y'all on the flip side.